actions to fear consequence from him? Like, what is that?
Right.
What does that mean exactly? Or what is it?
Okay. It's a good question. You ready? All right. So we've got a couple questions this morning. One is, what does it mean to fear the Lord? In Proverbs, it says, the beginning of wisdom is fear the Lord. Does anybody know where that's at? I don't. It's in Proverbs. Somebody look it up. You see something? You got a phone?
I'm gonna say it's 11.
Huh?
I'm gonna say one second. I'm gonna say it's 11 or 12. It's 9:10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Okay.
The knowledge.
So generally, actually, what is it? Proverbs what?
9:10.
All right. So do y'all know how to just go into the Bible Hub? Hmm? You type in Bible Hub or Bible, huh? Type in Bible Hub to Google. Click on it. Let me just go. I have one. I always keep one open. I always keep Bible Hub open in one of my pages on my phone. So I go to Proverbs. It's what? Proverbs 11?
9:10.
9. All right, Proverbs 9. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom and knowledge, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. All right. So I tap on that 10, verse 10. And I go over here and tap on Hebrew. And pull up how the scripture was actually written in the Hebrew. And then I tap on 3374 because that's the reference, the definition to, and it'll give you every time that word is used in the Bible. Genesis 27, Exodus 20:20, Deuteronomy 2:25. Go down here. Need to get familiar with this stuff. Technologies, use it. Don't just use it for bad stuff. Yeah. Why is it not? All right. Morally reverence is extremely fearing reverence. It's fear. This is how it's all defined. Okay. Extreme reverence. What is, I think one description says the reverential fear of the Lord. So, you know, reverence is esteeming or giving extreme value, honoring, recognizing supremacy. Now, when I use those words, supremacy, authority, things like that, then it should invoke that, yes, there is consequences. If you don't reverence, it's like you're taught, you should be taught gun safety, right? You should be taught gun safety. And if you don't treat a gun with respect, bad things can happen. Consequences can happen. Spencer, sit over here so you're not smack in the way. There's power. So what are you recognizing? You shouldn't fear a gun, but you should understand that it has a power. There's a power there, right? A great power that if disrespected, harm can come to you. Okay? That's the fear of the Lord. Is that if you disrespect, if you don't esteem, you don't value, you don't honor, you don't recognize, you don't have understanding of how absolutely powerful, supreme, and really it goes into, you're not going to have it unless you understand God, the attributes of God. The attributes of God are He's omnipotent. What does that mean? All powerful. All powerful. He's omniscient. He's all knowing. It's where we get the word consciousness, niscience, conscience. All knowing, omniscient. He's omnipresent. He's everywhere all the time. He sees everything. He is in the eternal now. So He's omniscient. He's omnipresent. He's omnipotent, all powerful, and those three attributes there. But He's also 100% love. He's all love. And I'm talking about love, on Sunday. Is sometimes we really don't know what love is. Love is not just warm and fuzzy. Love protects. Love corrects. Love disciplines. So, you don't mess with love. You don't get in between love. You do not want to find yourself as a person who is caught in between someone who loves something or loves something else, because you are you will quickly find yourself on the outside, or you'll tore up or whatever over it. Why? Because that's what love. There is righteous anger. That's in love. There is protection, and like I said, correction and discipline. That's all love. There's jealousy is in love. Bible says God is a jealous God, a consuming fire. You do not want to get in between or be doing something wrong with someone who is very passionate about something and you don't have the same level of passion as they do. Watch how quickly you get corrected or shoved out of the way, or they get angry with you because you're dealing with something they're very passionate about, and you're just playing around with it. You're loose, you're sloppy, you're random, you know, you act like you don't care. You don't understand the price that was paid, right? I have guys move stuff all around. I get upset. I go in the thrift store and I'm like, I like wood. I respect wood. Furniture. I know the grade of wood. I know what's walnut and what's oak, and 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 I appreciate craftsmanship. And then I go into the thrift store and I see somebody throws a hammer on a piece of wood furniture. Like, what the frick are you putting metal on this wood? You're gonna scratch it. You have no appreciation. You have no understanding of the tolerances, and you understand what I'm saying like that. You have, you get a new car, you know, and it's a new car to you. It's your baby to you, but someone else it's just an old car, right? And so, would you do that? Don't lean on that. Don't put your hand on that. Don't put that up there, right? Same thing. And you watch how quickly you get fussed at, right? Oh, you know, I see this all the time. Sometimes, you handle some mother's child the wrong way. You're doing, in most cases, mothers just overreact, but uh, that's their baby. I can smack them around and right. I watch some moms how they treat their kids in Walmart. You little blankety blank blank, just out in the open, everything like that. But then you go to just, you know, reach for them or here. Why'd you get away from my kid? Well, it's like, oh, I thought you hated him the way you were talking to him, but you're ready to rip my head off. I just, right? What is all that? That's all, like, you got to understand, you got to have a certain reverence for people that love a thing, and then you really need to have a reverence for God's love, because again, he's on a whole nother level of supremacy. He's on a whole nother level of devotion. You've never met, there's no one, you've never met anybody who would kill their son for you. You go to that extreme, you better have some reverential fear, some respect, and some honor, even for your brother, for your sister, for his creation, for other human beings. It's like, you think you're just going to disrespect somebody that he killed his son for? I'm just saying it. He don't let stuff slot like that. You better have some fear of the Lord. When God calls somebody, when God anoints somebody, if God calls a minister, there's way too many people that are too quick to judge or speak out against ministers. You don't know. You absolutely do not know the stuff that they've been entrusted with, the crap they have to put up with to represent, to try and represent that level of sacrifice, because that's what a minister does. He represents a level of sacrifice from God, who said, I will kill my son for this individual. Now, as a minister, you have the responsibility of having to conduct that and carry that out on earth. This is why, and I talk to people and I'm like, they say they're Christians or they say they're ministers or want to be ministers or whatever, or you want to be a leader and you can't. They get upset if somebody does something. Everything is minor. Everything is nothing. Why? You are supposed to represent a God who killed his son. What compares to that? The fact that somebody said something about you, the fact that somebody's talking behind your back, oh, you poor thing. Have they come to get your child? And shoved a spear in her side right in front of you? Or are we dealing with that level of pain? Well, that's what you're supposed to represent. So you're not supposed to be moved by everything else. It's like really it is nothing if you're representing Christ. We need to understand that if take up your, what does that mean? Take up your cross and follow me. He's like, if you want to be my follower, you want to be my believer, get ready. Be prepared to have your beard pulled out, right out of your flesh. Get ready to have a spear shoved in your side, punched in the face, spit in the face, blindfolded, made jokes about. Get ready. And anything else is nothing. Don't even complain to me about it. I don't do complaints. I don't like complainers. I don't like people that make excuses. It's like you just don't comprehend the level of extremeness that our God would go to his love for others, his love for his abusers, his love for his abusers, not love for his disciples, not love for his abusers. And every single one of us were his abusers. That's the beginning of wisdom. It's understanding the absolute power and authority of God's majesty, and yet his absolute love, his crazy, jealous, burning, passionate love for his creation. Don't get in between it. Don't be on the wrong side of it. When you begin to understand some of that, you will not be so quick to do a lot of things, to act, to say. It's like if you have some reverential fear of the Lord, then you'll actually, and it won't just be directed towards God, that'll also be directed towards your fellow man. Because the only way you could know God is the fact that he loves you and he forgave a whole lot of crap for you. And so don't tell me that you know God or you love God and then you don't have a compassion for his creation. You don't know him at all. He's a God who would kill his own son for the worst person on earth. And I know all kind of Christians that run around here and act like they know the Bible, they know all kind of stuff, and they treat other people, they turn up their nose at people, they get upset over stupid stuff, they can't keep their flesh in control. Even this, while we're talking about it, the morality, that definition said, what was it? A moral reverence. Well, what does morality? Morality doesn't have to do with God. Morality has to do with relationship between human beings. It doesn't have to do with your relationship with God. Morality is, if you want to name a few, it's the 10 Commandments. It's like 8 of them. It's immoral to steal. It's immoral to lie. Are you stealing from God? Are you lying to God? No, you're lying to God's creation, another fellow human being. You're perverting God's love to lust and fornication and adultery, and it's a perversion, it's a misrepresentation, and so it's immoral. It's immoral to pervert God's love. See, you're supposed to be a representative of God, right? So now when you lust, that's a perversion of love. It's immoral. So the fear of the Lord, again, the fear of the Lord is saying, I do not want to misrepresent God's intent for my fellow human beings. So God doesn't steal, God gives. God doesn't take, right? God doesn't lie. It says that in the Bible, right? God doesn't lie. God doesn't, he's not a thief. He doesn't steal. He doesn't take. He gives, for God so loved that he gave. Right? So God's love is perfect. Absolutely perfect. He's not looking for a tingle or a feel. He's not needy. He doesn't need your comfort. People think he needs your love. No, he doesn't even need your love. He's complete in himself. Oh, he needs our worship. No, he doesn't. He has angels that worship him 24, and they do a much better job than us because we're two-faced. We say we love him, we say holy, we sing songs, and then turn around and get in our car and curse and do all kinds of things and gossip about everything that just happened in the service. You don't need that. He has angels that when they say holy, they mean holy and nothing unholy comes out of their mouth. So he doesn't need us to worship him. Can I let you in on a clue? You weren't created to worship God. You were created to represent him on this earth. You weren't created to worship him. Now, if you know who he is, you will worship him. if you have a revelation of who he is, you will bow down. You will be like the prophet. Woe is me, I'm undone. I'm a man of unclean lips, and I dwell among a people who are unclean. Whoa, 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 whoa. I just saw who God is. And there's, in comparison to how perfect he is, I am wretched, unholy. I am horrible. And so you'll know that there's a gap there. And you will worship him because you'll recognize you don't deserve this. You're not ever going to be like, there'll be no pride. There'll be no personal pride. Even as humans, we take pride amongst ourselves, comparing ourselves to, let's go back to, maybe somebody is a great craftsman or a great artisan. Maybe somebody can really make some really nice, fine furniture, Trust me, it ain't nothing compared to the craftsmanship of God. He made the valves on the heart to work. He made the eyes to blink. He created that. There's nobody that even comes within 1/1,000,000th of a millionth close to the creativeness of God, to the beauty of what God does in his creation. So when you begin to understand that, it doesn't matter how awesome you are. It does not matter how awesome you are. You don't even come close how awesome God is. And so for that reason, even the most awesome person will just bow down and say, I am unclean, I am unholy. That's why when the rich young ruler came to him and said, good master, he's like, time out, time out, time out. You're referring to me. I'm God. And you're using a human term, good. And you're using your human mind and you're putting a label on me as good. Now, let me ask you this. Is this good? Am I good like you think what good is? Because you don't have a clue what good is. My definition of good, God's definition of good, and your definition of good, it's completely different things. We even see that in humanity. We have some people that dream of getting out of a single wide in a trailer park and having a double wide on 5 acres of land. And that's good. They're like, whoa, I'm big time now. I'm living the life. And then you have some people that live in the finest home here in Petersburg. Nice. 5,000 square feet, 12-foot ceilings, fireplace in every room, big crown molding, quartz countertops in the kitchen, concrete driveway, beautiful fenced-in yard, deck, barbecue, built-in outdoor kitchen with the gazebo, swimming pool. Awesome. And then someone who lives in Martha's Vineyard or the Hollywood Hills wouldn't even come look at your house in Petersburg. You understand? There's levels. There's levels to good. There's levels to great. One person's idea of what good is trash compared to somebody else. Do you understand? Now you take that and compare it to the humanity's definition of good and God's definition of good. The goodness that God lives in. Doesn't compare. But, I'm trying to upgrade from a dirt driveway to putting some gravel down. Woohoo! I finally got my gravel down. No more grass growing up in my driveway and mud holes when I pull in to my drive. Woo! I got me some. I just got a quote. Got 15 tons of gravel. What is it? Like it's going to be like $350 for the gravel and $200, $500. I'm going to get some gravel down in my driveway. Woo! And then I'll really be big time if I get it paved. One day, maybe one day, I'll have a blacktop driveway. And then when I hit the lottery, I'm going to get rid of that blacktop and put concrete down. Oh, yeah. And then not just any concrete, it's going to be, the kind that has that gravel kind of on the top so it looks, all antique-y like, expensive concrete driveway. And God's like, yeah, I hear you talking. You know what I use on my driveway? Gold. Pure gold. You got a little bit of ways to come up to my standard. My driveways are gold. Not just any gold, pure gold. You don't even know what gold is on earth. You don't have gold like I have gold. You know that I've told you this before. The only thing that makes gold, what gives gold its gold color, is the impurities in it. There's no such thing as 100% pure gold on earth. It's always like 99% pure. It's the impurities in everything that give it its color. The density, volume, and a lot of times it's the impurity. Because light has to reflect, light has to bounce off of something. And what you're seeing when you see color, you're seeing a reflection of light hitting it, and either the density and the reflectiveness of that thing coming back, and so there you see the different shades. Okay? And so gold has impurities, and so when the light hits that, it reflects back as a gold color. But the gold in heaven is pure. What does the Bible say about it? It's transparent, like glass. So, I'm just saying, God's on a whole nother level. And so when you talk about God, when you pray to God, when you say you have a relationship with God, it ain't much. Don't play around with it. Don't take it lightly. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to fear like a punishment thing, because He does love you. Like that's what's it should be like this. Just you should be in awe. It should be just so incredible to you, right? That somebody that paves his driveway with clear, translucent, 100% pure gold would even want to have a conversation with you. Right? Like, how excited would you be? You know, some of you will be looking for jobs or, wanting to whatever, but how exciting would it be to meet, spend a day with, an Elon Musk or an Oprah Winfrey or name whoever, like somebody who's super wealthy, and that they are like, hey, I just want to hang out with you. I was thinking about, I do this thing where on a regular basis, I just adopt people as my children. And they get to have all the benefits of all my wealth and all my knowledge. And they can come around anytime they want and just, pick up the phone, be like, hey, Oprah, like, yeah, I'm here. And I having an issue. I was thinking about starting a business. I've always wanted to bake cupcakes and everything. So I was thinking about opening a cupcake shop. Oprah, what do you think? Think you could help me out a little bit, maybe do a little promotion, maybe give me some money. I really feel like this is my purpose. I really feel like, my purpose is to be in my community, bless people with cupcakes, and be the best cupcake maker there is. Just put smile on people's face. People are like, I can't believe you got Oprah's phone number. You could just talk to her and call her up like that. And she's just like willing to help you with your purpose and build your business and everything like that. Yeah. Yeah, her and Elon are going to come down next week, Sunday. I'll be worshiping with them in church. They thought to just come hang out with me, worship. Wow. Oprah and Elon don't pave their driveways with pure gold. Oprah and Elon don't know the number of hairs on your head. Oprah and Elon haven't been watching over you since you took your first breath. So we should have some incredible, incredible reverence for God. That He would call you friend. That He would adopt you into His family and make you joint heirs with His Son. You should wake up every morning and be mind blown that you have this incredible opportunity to live as a son and a daughter of the Most High God. And that should never be lost on you. And you should walk in respect, great respect towards him, and great respect towards his creation. That you represent him amongst the creation. And that's the fear of the Lord. That's the fear of the Lord. To be afraid to ever lose that. Right? Like, what if Oprah or Elon Musk gave you your phone number and said, hey man, anytime you need something, just give me a call. Huh? You'd be like, I don't need that number. Huh? How stupid would you be if you lost that number? How incredibly stupid would you be if you never called that number? Huh? But you know what? God gives us people all the time that could help us, and we don't. Oh, we know Leroy and Bubba's phone number. Mookie and Pookie, we're going to call them. But you don't call the pastor. You're not getting advice from big people, from people that are on a whole nother level. And I know that might even be hard for some people. Part of the problem for a lot of students that come in here is you don't want to even admit that there's people on different levels, because it forces you to look at yourself and admit something about yourself, right? And we're trying not to focus on our failures. I get that. But admitting where you are in relationship to other people, admitting that there's a gap, is the first step to closing the gap. If for those of you who want some recovery ministry, because we don't hear enough about substance abuse and recovery in this program. I just gave you one of the steps. I think it's the first step. Admitting that there's a problem, that there's a gap. And that you're powerless within yourself to close that gap. Right? So don't say that I don't ever talk to you about recovery. Well, that gap is your natural being that you're so in love with, and the supernatural being that you really are. Or the supernatural being that you really are, and the human lie that you tell yourself you are. So you think you're a human. God looks at you like you're supernatural. So the lie is that you're human. God says you're supernatural. The lie is that you're natural. God says you're supernatural. You believe you're human. God believes you're a spirit. That's the gap. That's the gap. And so you feed your human being. Your human wants comfort. Your humanity wants to comfort its humanity. Your spirit wants to crucify the flesh, wants to get rid of the flesh. You ever watch the Matrix, and he confronts the one Mr. Smith or whatever, and he's like, Mr. Smith is sweating, and he's like, and he takes this drop of sweat, and he's like, ugh, how do you stand this? I can't wait to get out of this stinking body. It's like I'm trapped in this wretched flesh. I think it was while he was torturing Morpheus. We're in love with the flesh. But when you understand your spirit, the flesh is just a trap. It's a limitation. It stinks. It's odorous. It's decaying. It's weak. It's frail. And your power and your strength is in a supernatural, unseen part of you. Your purpose and all of that is in the unseen. And as long as you pamper your flesh and you cater to your flesh and you spend your money on your flesh, and you keep your flesh addicted, you can keep your flesh weak. It's kind of like listen, when you I'll say it like this, when you feed the flesh, you're making your weakness strong. Right? You're giving strength to your weakness. So what does that do? When you give strength to weakness, you become weaker. You don't become strong. When you feed weakness, you get weaker. Right? Nobody is like, you know what? I'm going to do more drugs. I'll be better. How's it? Did that ever work out? Right? No. I'm gonna give more money to this. I'm gonna give more attention to this. What has ever happened to you when you've given more attention to your flesh, when you've given more money to your flesh, when you've spent more money on your flesh, when you've given more attention to your flesh, when you've given even more attention to your emotions, when you've given more to what do you do? What do you do when you do that? What happens? Do things get better? You become more wretched. You become weaker. But that's what you value, so you spend your energy, you spend your resources, you spend it all on the flesh, and you just get worse. All you've done is increase your limitations. You understand? Because you're paying attention to them. You're paying, did you catch that? You pay attention. You're going to pay. When you pay attention to your flesh, you pay attention to your feelings. Go ahead, pay attention to them. Did you catch that word? Pay. You are paying. And you're going to turn around one time and go, oh, why don't I have this? And why don't I have that? And why can't I do this? And why can't I do that? You know why? Because you paid everything that you were given. You paid it to your emotions. You paid attention to your thoughts. You paid attention to your emotions. You paid attention to the thing. And now, guess what? When you need something, you ain't got nothing to give because you paid it all in attention to those things. So if you look at it like paying and saving, I don't pay attention to my emotions. I don't pay attention to my flesh. I don't pay attention to that stuff. And you know what? I got a whole bunch of spiritual capital over here. I got a whole lot of stuff that now I'm saving it for my spirit. I'm saving it for my purpose. I'm saving it for what really matters. Now I have resources to pay attention. And no, I don't pay attention to the flesh. I pay all my attention to the spirit. I pay my attention to God. I pay my tithe. I pay I pay into my family. I pay into this and I pay into that. And I have it to pay because I don't pay attention. I don't pay attention to the fleshly things. I pay my spiritual life. I pay attention to my spiritual life, to my supernatural man. And all the issues of life, it says all of the issues of life spring out of that. Now I'm living the way I was created to live. Now I'm in sync with God. Now I've created an attachment, a portal, a channel for which supernatural blessings and supernatural occurrences and even little things. And just saying, the people I meet. Have a connection in the supernatural realm. It was a preordained connection. Now, the things I spend my earthly money on, they give me an increase in the spiritual realm. The Bible says the blessings of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow. They're not giving me cancer. I'm not going to get diabetes because I'm paying money to my flesh. I'm paying attention to my flesh. How's that work out for you? Pay attention to your flesh. Keep craving the vapes and the everything. Just keep it. And you know what you're going to get paid in? Cancer, respiratory issues, diabetes. Or you paid attention to your flesh. You gave your flesh everything it wanted when it cried, so you gave attention to it. And you know how you're going to get repaid? You know what that investment, how that's going to pay off? Arthritis, inflammation. You'll be pissing on yourself when you're, 60. Real. Like, oh, we can kind of see that. That's kind of harsh talk, but we're making those payments all the time. We're paying in to that physical comfort of humanity. That's where we're putting up, where you're putting up, and it says don't put anything in this earth, but store up treasures in heaven. Focus on the supernatural, focus on the spiritual realm. Begin to build a life in the supernatural. You know? Right down to everything that that you do. We work hard for our money. See, I mean, you understand? It ain't even about the vaping and the Mountain Dews and all. It's not even about that. It's the fact that you put in hours of your life to earn an income to then turn around and supply your flesh with stuff that's going to kill your flesh. That's a great routine, isn't it? Work 40 hours a week so you can go take that money that's, first off, you hate your work, and I don't think anybody would be doing the work and showing up and everything, but you're doing it, and you'll never get that time back. And then on top of it, you're spending your time doing that, and then you're going to take the money that you earn from doing some stuff that you don't like, from being away from your family, from being whatever, going to the job, the job. Then you're going to take it and you're going to go spend it on your flesh so your flesh can decay faster. And so your flesh can give you problems when you turn 58. So you can go buy some toxins to put in your body so your flesh will turn it into cancer. Wonderful. You're a genius. All in the name of comfort. All in the name of comforting what? The flesh. We should look at this flesh and just be like, and this is the most wretched part of me that there is. I'm supernatural. I'm spirit. I'm a creation of the Most High God. Fearfully and wonderfully made by my Creator with a purpose. And now I'm out here just screwing it all up. In the name of having fun, being comfortable, pleasing the body. Come on. We need to get our focus right. When you have some fear of the Lord, you start looking through a whole different lens. I only have one body to give him. The body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. Oh. I just don't, swap bodily fluids with just whoever. This is the temple of the Holy Spirit. Well, anyways, there's a gap right there, let me tell you. Now, we had another question. Oh, Mary Magdalene and the question about, when Jesus was writing in the sand and everything like that, the woman caught in adultery. Let me just say this. There's not a definitive that the woman caught in adultery was Mary Magdalene. We don't know that definitively. That's a guess. Mary Magdalene was a woman who had a reputation of being promiscuous. But some things will depict this timeline that she was the woman caught in adultery and all this and that and everything. It's not clear. When I read the Bible, I don't like to necessarily make leaps. I mean, it's okay to imagine what it was like back in the times of the Bible and everything like that. But to say this is exactly how it was when the Bible doesn't say that is, don't be trying to figure out some spiritual deep truth about it. What did Jesus write in the sand? No one knows. It's the short answer. No one knows. It doesn't say. It doesn't say. But the actions of him was that. So the first thing is he ignored the accusations. Why? He's heard them for billions of years. He pre-existed with God, and the devil is the accuser of the brethren. Job is the oldest book in the Bible written. Job is the first book that was written down. Doesn't mean it's chronologically, but it was the first one that was written, recorded. And you saw the devil come up and accuse Job in the courts of heaven. And so Jesus is just more accusations, and he ignores them. Why? For one thing, he already knows. He knows that he has the power of forgiveness. So I understand that Jesus and God, because Jesus was representing God and how God is, God sees everything in the now. There's no future with God. Time is a construct of man. Okay? So before the woman was brought out to Jesus and accused by the men all around and picking up stones, she was already forgiven. So there was just this stuff playing out in humanity. But his judgment was complete and had been completed. And Jesus in that moment had already died for her. Yes, because it says he was slain before the world was created, before the foundations of the world. Why? Because God already sees it all finished. He knows how it's all going to play out, everything. And so he's not moved. Jesus wasn't moved. That was kind of the question. It was like he just played it so cool. Because he already was like, this is y'all's little humanity play down here. Y'all This is what he's thinking, probably. Like, this is y'all are so caught up in humanity and what this looks like and what she did and who she did it with and everything like that. And y'all are down here playing religion and everything like that. I'm the Lamb of God. I was slain for her. My blood was shed for her. It's already finished. She's a spirit. She is not what you see being drug out in front. And these stones are of earth, but my redemption is of a supernatural thing. And so this is the perspective that he sees everything, and he's just like, y'all are just friggin' playing a whole bunch of little games down here. I came for this very thing, to forgive. I have one purpose, that is to forgive and redeem. So you put me in this situation where you want to pick up stones because you're viewing her through the eyes of humanity. I see her as a victim of sin. She's a victim of a sinful, fallen world. I came to forgive her and raise her. That was his whole perspective. And it was already finished. He already knew her before she was ever drug out in front of him. And so for him, it was just very natural. It was what he came to do. That was his highest calling, was to forgive her, raise her up, get all the accusers and all of the nastiness, all the judgment away from her, send all the judgment away, raise her up, and then say, don't do this anymore. You're clean. Don't do it anymore. So that's Mary. That's, well, the woman caught in adultery. We don't know actually if it was Mary Magdalene, but so I did get 2 answers in today. All right.